Welcome to the Dr. Maya podcast, where we challenge the norms of healthcare, empower people to take control of their health, and redefine the future of medicine.
Life was given to us 1 billion years ago. What have we done with it?
My name is Srivatsa. I'm a doctor, author, and creator of Dr. Maya to introduce patient-centered care, which will revolutionize healthcare. Today I'm going to talk about evolution and explain how it is related to our health and well-being.
If you don't know how we came into existence and what are we made up of, how can you treat them? Nobody has understood this. They think, oh, no problem, give penicillin. That doesn't work like that. So you have to understand evolution, so the origin of life. How did we come into existence?
The history of Earth is unimaginably long. If it were sped up to the equivalent of a single day, all of humankind, from the earliest skeletons to the invention of the iPhone, would have occurred in only the last 4 seconds. Dinosaurs were still roaming Earth about 20 minutes before that. But the creation of our planet occurred more than 23 hours earlier, 2 cycles on this clock, or 4.5 billion years ago.
Initially, when the world was very volatile and there was only gases, very toxic, methane, carbon dioxide, toxic, very, very toxic the gases. The temperature was very high. And the first and the foremost thing which happened at that time were just elements like calcium, potassium, magnesium. There were lots of metallic thingies around. So they all combined together, and by some chance, amino acids were produced. And when once amino acid they converted themselves, there are only 4 amino acids in DNA. Anybody has got a clue what it is? AT, adenosine, tyrosine, guanine, and cytosine. These are the 4 amino acids which interlock. And the whole life depends upon these 4 amino acids. So what happened was DNA kind of a thing was formed, and the first cell which was formed, basically this is how these building blocks were created. A membrane was formed, and later on the RNA, ribonucleic acid, which went in, and that's called prokaryotes. So prokaryotes were actually single cellular. The one on this one as a single cell, and it's got a nucleoid. There is no nuclear membrane. It's got pili and it's got flagellum. So this is the primitive cell which formed. A few million years later, some meteor or something came onto Earth, bringing in a virus, and that we think is called mitochondria, which went inside. The problem with this one is it was only producing 2 molecules of ATP, adenosine triphosphate, which was not enough for the cell to multiply, to produce different species. So when the mitochondria came in, it could make 32 molecules of ATP. So it had so much energy, which started multiplying, and the first organisms which were formed were not human-like, but they were plants, because they could use the carbon dioxide to make more energy. At that time, the carbon dioxide was very high, so they were using that and releasing oxygen. As the oxygen level went up, that's called green evolution, the cells which needs and thrives on oxygen started coming in. So this happened some 3.5 to 4 billion years ago. So there's not much difference between the prokaryotes and the eukaryotes. Only this one has got mitochondria, and it's got organelles called Golgi bodies and things like that. It does small functions. The most important thing in this is mitochondria, and they take longer time, whereas this one multiplies every 20 minutes. And even today, the bacteria are more or less belongs to this group. So they have existed for billions of years. And then we have the fungus and the virus. The funguses are basically, they're similar to bacteria, similar to eukaryotes, because it has a mitochondria in it. And they, the first, before eukaryotes came in, fungus came up, and the fungus is the one which absorbed the carbon dioxide and released oxygen. Whereas the viruses actually are particles. They don't have life. What is that?
Pointer, you can't use it.
Oh, does it?
Yeah, it works.
Which one is this? This one. Yeah. Okay. So here you can see mitochondria, and this is a virus. Virus doesn't have any organelles. It's a dust. It's a non-living substance. People talk more about virus all the time. Oh, you got virus. It's a superbug virus. I mean, I read this all the time in the media. Who the hell said there is a superbug virus? But they can't differentiate between the virus and the bacteria. Viruses don't come in seasonally alone. Every time you breathe in, you're breathing in virus. Every time you breathe out, it is. Why? Because the bacteria cannot get into your cells. They can just get into your airway, but they can't get inside. It's like coming into the corridor, but they don't know how to get into the room. The viruses are necessary to open the door and let the bacteria come in. So that's why virus infection is 99.59% followed with the bacterial infection, because the bacteria are waiting outside thinking, how can I get inside and have the goodies? So they want to get into your body and get into the cell, and they wait. So it's always a virus. So the flu epidemic they're talking about, saying we can give vaccination and stop all this, is all bullshit, because you don't get the same species, because 10 years ago they decided this year it is going to be Haemophilus H1N1. 10 years ago they predicted. I mean, I could just do a lottery ticket and probably win more money than taking this gamble. So you have been injected with vaccinations which may not work. In the last 10 years, maybe twice the same strain came in. So if you get a virus infection, then follows the staphylococcus. That is the common one. So you can understand the difference between these two. And now the prokaryote, this is what I said. The plants are necessary to use the carbon dioxide and make oxygen. And this is called carbon cycle. If you have legumes like beans and those kind of plants, they have underneath, on the root, they have plants. They have germs there. And these germs use the carbon dioxide and make release a lot of oxygen, and they call nitrogen fixation. They also fix nitrogen in the soil. So now we need plant population to change the ecosystem. There are people in London, central London, sitting there saying global warming is going to be disaster. But to tell you frankly, global warming is not going to do anything very much, because that is going to take another 100 years. Whereas this is going to make a lot of difference, because the carbon dioxide has gone up. Now the bacteria are all changing over to fungus. The fungus is spreading all around. That is going to be a major problem.